back to my channel for another video. My name is Riaa and I make motherhood and lifestyle videos. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video and I hope you enjoy it. As you can tell from the title, I will be doing the preemie tag slash all about my firstborn tag. I combined these two because, as you guys know if you've been following my channel since the beginning, I do have a preemie and I just have one child. So yeah, I wanted to do this video because I love sharing my daughter's story. I love sharing my experience and what it's like being a preemie mom and all that good stuff. And so I hope you guys find this video inspirational. If you have a preemie or if you are in the hospital expecting a preemie, or if you unexpectedly had a preemie, I hope you can relate to this video. I also just enjoy watching these videos myself, so I don't know if you guys will stick around long enough to watch the entire thing. I hope you do. Maybe you'll find out some stuff that you didn't know before, but yeah, let's jump right in. So for this video I combined both my preemie tag questions and the all about my firstborn tag questions. I don't know who created these originally. If I can track them down, I will have them linked down below in the description box. But I also threw in a few of my own questions just to kind of fill in the blanks. So this is a mashup of both of those things, and I will have the questions for each of them listed in the description box below as well. So let's get in it. All right, so the first question is, was my pregnancy planned? It wasn't not planned. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. It wasn't not planned. We weren't not trying to have kids. Let's see, were we married? No, and I am still not married, but I am with my baby daddy. So what was my reaction to finding out? I was literally in shock. Yeah, I was in shock. I kind of thought maybe because my boobs were hurting so bad, and they always hurt like right before I'm supposed to start. Sorry if that's TMI, but they were hurting so bad and I was late and I was like, what is going on? And yeah, when I found out that I was pregnant, I was kind of in shock, and I remember sitting in the bathroom for a minute just literally staring at my test like, holy crap, this is happening. Like, okay. How old was I? I was 24 when I found out that I was pregnant. How did I find out? So I guess I kind of answered this question already, but to give you more of a backstory, BJ and I actually went to his parents' house for the weekend, and his mom is one of my best friends, and I was telling her, you know, what was going on, and she's like, you need to take a test. And she had one already. I don't know why she had one, but she had one. And so she's like, here, go take it. And so I did. I went into the bathroom and I took it. And that brings me to my next question, was who did I tell first? So she was at the house as well as BJ. And I went into the bathroom, did my business, came out, and she was like, what was the test results? And I said, it's positive. And she was like, what? And I said, yeah, it's positive, I'm pregnant. And then we just had a little celebration. It was me, her, and BJ. She technically was the first one, but BJ was in the room like whenever I like came out and was talking to her. So did I want to find out the gender? Yes, I did. But I wanted to be surprised and do like a gender reveal, which is the next question. Like, did we do a gender reveal? And we did, but we didn't, like, I don't know. I knew that I was gonna have a girl, which that's a question for the mommy tag. Like, what is the gender of my baby? She is a girl. I had a girl. I just knew right away that I was going to have a girl. Like, my mom's family has tons of girls, and so I just knew. Like, I just knew that I was gonna have a girl. I don't know, it was just a feeling, and I was right. We did a little gender reveal for my parents and BJ's parents and like my brother and my sister. I'll put a picture, or if you go to like my Instagram, you can see our gender reveal video and like all that stuff. Did I have morning sickness? I didn't have morning sickness like in the morning. which is weird. I don't know why they call it morning sickness if it happens like anytime during the day. But I did get sick, not a lot, but a little bit. Like, it just depends on what I ate. And even though something sounded really good and I ate it, it sometimes wouldn't just, you know, it didn't stay very long. It didn't last very long. Let's see, what did I crave? So some of you guys might think this is super gross, but I craved pickles and maraschino cherries, like the sweet cherries together. Pickles and cherries, so good. Oh my gosh, I would get like a cherry slush and add pickles to it, and like, oh my gosh, my mouth is watering just talking about it. And like the green apple sour punch straws with like pickle chunks on top. Oh man, so good. And I remember once we were at BJ's parents' house, and they had pickles, and his mom was making a pineapple upside down cake, and she had the maraschino cherries, and after she made the cake she gave me like the remainder of it, and so I made like a pickle cherry sandwich, and I was just sitting there eating them. They were so good, and I still eat them like today. All right, how many pounds did I gain? I have no idea, honestly. But that brings us to the next question. When was my original due dates? So my due date was February 24th. But my baby came almost 16 weeks early. I had her at 23 weeks and 6 days. So her birthday is October 31st, and she wasn't supposed to be born until February 24th. So, let's see. How long was I in labor? So prior to going into labor, I was already in the hospital, but once like a labor initially started, and like from the time it started to the time I gave birth, I think it was like 10.5 hours or something like that. All natural, didn't have any painkillers. It was freaking ridiculous. It's the most painful thing in the world. I have past kidney stones, and that pain is pretty much the same to having childbirth, but childbirth is just a little bit worse. Like, oh man, even though my baby was tiny, that shit still hurt. What was my baby's weight and height? So when she was born at 1 pound 3 ounces, and she was 10 inches long. So she was like itty bitty. I could hold her in my hand, and she looked like a little alien. Like whenever I first saw her in NICU, she was like wrapped in like this plastic. I'll put a picture here to you, or you guys can check out my Instagram. She was itty bitty. She was teeny tiny. But yeah. Let's see, what is her name, and does it have meaning? So my daughter's name is Scarlet Rain. She does, like, it doesn't mean anything specifically, but my mom's name is Sylvia, and BJ's mom's name is Rachel, and so we took their initials and we named our daughter Scarlet Rain. So S for Sylvia and R for Rachel. How was your pregnancy? Did I have any medical issues? If you guys have seen Scarlett's premature birth story, I'll put it in the description box, like a link to her, or I'll have it tagged up here. But I did do a video talking about my labor and delivery story. But my pregnancy was fine. It was normal from, you know, conception all the way up until I was almost 21 weeks. And then I woke up with bleeding. Was having what was called a threatened miscarriage due to an incompetent cervix. Basically, my body could not hold her in and was trying to like kick her out. So I ended up having to be on bed rest for almost 3 weeks in the hospital, like complete and total bed rest. Could not get up, could not like go to the bathroom. I had to use the bathroom in the bed. For almost 3 weeks. Had to have a rescue cerclage put in, so I had surgery for the first time ever in my whole life while I was pregnant, and it was to sew my cervix closed. I had to be awake for it. The most terrifying day of my whole life. Like, I've never experienced anything more terrifying than that. But yeah, if you guys want to watch that whole video, I will put it, like I said, in the description box, or I will link it up here. But yeah. How was labor, delivery, recovery? Again, like I said, if you guys want to watch that video, you can. But labor was freaking terrible. But I had, you know, BJ and my sister with me the whole time, and yeah, I'm very glad that I had them. Recovery though was kind of weird, because like I said, I was on complete bed rest for like almost 3 weeks up until the day that I had Scarlett, and so I hadn't been walking. And so after I had Scarlett, they let me rest for a little bit. Like I fell asleep and they let me rest. I don't even know what time I got up and what time they got me out of bed, but the nurses came in and helped me out of bed, and I got up for the first time in almost 3 weeks and walked to the bathroom. It felt like I was walking on pins and needles. Like, it was really weird trying to walk after not walking for so long. And then I had to get used to walking again after that. So I had to use a wheelchair. I think I only used it for like 2 days, maybe 1.5. But I think the longest I had it was like maybe 2 days. But I had to use a wheelchair to like help me get around, and if I was too tired to walk, then, you know, they would wheel me. But yeah, it was really weird having to get used to walking again. And like 2 weeks after I had her, after I had Scarlett, like my feet would hurt. Like it was almost like my muscles just had to like get used to being used again. So it was weird, but everything else was fine. Like everything else was fine. How long was my baby in NICU? So Scarlett spent 144 days total in NICU. Due dates are a lie. Your baby can go home before their due date, or they can stay a month after their due date like Scarlett did, or they can stay longer. It really just depends on your baby. So, but yeah, she spent 144 days, which is like the equivalent of 5 months in the hospital. How was life after baby? It was weird. I mean, when you have a preemie, life is not ever the same. You kind of take things one day at a time, and you just kind of gotta ride that NICU roller coaster. And sometimes days are good, and sometimes days are terrible, and you're like praying to God that you don't lose your child. We definitely had a lot of those days, and if you guys follow my blog, I have told our story and I've shared it on my blog, treasuresofmotherhood.com, so you guys can check that out if you want to read it. I will have that link for you guys in the description box below. Yeah, it was different. It was hard. Those first 5 months were pretty terrifying as a mom, being a new mom especially. She was my first child, and it was not the experience that I was imagining when I first had a baby, or when I first found out that I was pregnant. And life after that, like once she was released from the hospital, it was still a little strange, because you had to kind of be your child's doctor and mother at the same time. Like you have to do both roles, which, I mean, when you're a mom, you're already your child's caretaker, and you know, you take care of them, but you just have to take in consideration, like if your child has medical issues, you have to worry about medicines and breathing treatments and doctor's appointments and specialists and all that stuff. So yeah, it's been different, but I wouldn't trade it for the world, honestly. I wouldn't. Let's see, does my preemie have any medical conditions? So she has chronic lung disease, which is also known as bronchial pulmonary disorder, or BPD. But basically, her being born as early as she was, her lungs were not fully developed. I managed to get 1 round of steroids in before I had her, so that helped her, but her lungs were very premature and they were not fully developed when she came out, and so she had to be on the ventilators for a long time, and she was intubated for an extremely long time. Being on a vent can both help your lungs and damage your lungs over time. Like the longer you're intubated, the more damage they can cause, and that's just a part of having stuff that doesn't belong in your body inside your body. Like, that's just your body's reaction to it. So she has what's called chronic lung disease, and basically she's just recovering from it. Like, she's actually done really good, but she has that, so we have to be real careful, like around flu season and RSV season and all that stuff. And now with this coronavirus, we've been extra careful with her, because that's just like another thing to worry about. But she also has poor weight gain. She's still underweight, but her doctor and I are not really worried about it, just because we think she's just gonna be a petite kid. Like, we're a petite family, we're very short. Her grandmas are very small. Yeah, so we're not worried about it, but weight gain issues are pretty common with preemies, and that's definitely one of the things that she's facing. But it's not anything major. Other than that, when she was in the hospital, she did have a heart murmur, and they tried to close it with medicine, but it didn't work. So she ended up having to have surgery where they closed it, they clipped it. So she had heart surgery, but thankfully she's done really well, and she doesn't have to see a cardiologist for that anymore. She's doing great. So we are very blessed for her being born as early as she was. She's been very fortunate to not have as many issues as she could have. She never had any brain bleeds, anything like that. She's a trooper, man. She's very fortunate, because if you know anything about preemies, or if you have a preemie, or if you're going through it, then you know that there are so many risks when you have a preemie. They are susceptible to so many things happening to them just because their bodies are so underdeveloped. They just have a lot of obstacles to overcome. But she has been very fortunate, and that's something that I thank God for every single day. So yeah, sorry, I try not to get emotional when I'm talking about this stuff, but I mean, that's just life. Let's see, what's the next question? What's my favorite thing about my baby? So my favorite thing about Scarlett is her sass. She has been sassy since she came out of the womb. Like, she has just been, oh my gosh, her personality is hilarious. She's so funny. She's an entertainer for sure. It would not surprise me if she winds up being some kind of musician or dancer or something. I don't know, she's going to be something, because she's hilarious. But she's got a lot of sass and a lot of spunk, and I really think that is what helped her, like, in the hospital, is her sassiness. Like, she's just been a fierce little warrior since she came out. I love my little turkey. She's so funny. What is the hardest thing, or what was the hardest thing about being a preemie mom? There's been a lot of things that are hard, but I know how fortunate I am. So I mean, I try not to take things for granted, because I know how fortunate I am. But I think one of the hardest things about being a preemie mom is really, in the beginning, being able to relate to other moms was probably one of the hardest things, which is why I created my channel, so that I could hopefully inspire and connect with other moms of preemies, because it's not easy going through preemiehood, and it's not something that you want to experience alone. And if you can find someone who can relate to you and talk you through the same issues, or just be that shoulder for you, or like that listening ear to vent to, or just ask questions, or just, you know, be in motherhood with you, then that's awesome. And I have been very fortunate with my friends and my family that I have, who have been there with me, but it hasn't always been easy relating to them, but they have been super understanding and super supportive always. But that is one thing that is hard being a preemie mom, is just finding common ground with them on certain things. How old is my baby now? And a current update on my preemie. So Scarlett is now 2.5. and she is doing amazing. She is spunky, she's funny, she's sassy. She's 2, so she's definitely in those terrible 2s, and she's pushing her limits. Being home with her, just me and her all the time, has definitely been a challenge. But I think that's just normal motherhood. Like, that's not preemiehood, it's motherhood in general. But on the preemie side of things, she's doing really well. We actually just had a meeting with her case manager over the phone last week, and we're already talking about transitioning her out of early childhood intervention. I will have a video on that for you guys soon. I'm working on it. So if you want more of an update on that stuff, be on the lookout for that. Don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss it. But she's doing great. Her therapies are going good. She fought off pneumonia in February. Like, she's doing amazing, and I'm very proud of her, and I thank God for her every day. That's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned something new about us. I hope that it was inspirational and gave you some encouragement if you are in preemiehood. It's not like normal parenting, but it's a blessing, and it's so much fun, and I think that's just parenthood in general. You're always just very thankful for your babies. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe before you go, and also be sure to hit that bell button so you don't miss that video if you want to see the ECI update. And then if you guys want to hear more about our labor and delivery story, that will also be in the description box below for you. So thank you again for watching. If you stuck around this long, I know this video was kind of long, so I'm sorry, but yeah, you guys have a blessed and beautiful day, and I'll see you later. Bye.